It's a very good afternoon. It's 2 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. This is Market View, the Tuesday edition. My name is Lungilele Magakula. We're on the 22nd day of April 2025. We get into our program today. Women are significantly underrepresented in engineering globally, but their presence and impact are also growing. While women make up a substantial portion of the overall workforce, which is around 47%, they are still a minority in engineering, accounting for only about 14 to 16% of the global engineering workforce. But despite this, there are ongoing efforts to increase female representation in engineering through various initiatives and organizations. Sihle Similane will join us today via Zoom for a conversation on the latest initiatives they offer as women to support young women entering engineering fields and mentorship opportunities available through their organization. And also just to get a glimpse of the challenges women in engineering in Eswatini are facing right now. And in our news today, the Ministry of Commerce is urging all constituencies that wish to empower residents with entrepreneurial skills to contact the ministry officials. For now, let's kick off the show with our first story. The Youth Chamber of Commerce and Industries Eswatini, with different partners, has taken a major step towards empowering local entrepreneurs. In a strategic move to boost business competitiveness on the global stage, the Chamber together has brought in business consultants from the United States to conduct training sessions for young entrepreneurs across the country. The training focuses on key areas such as business operations, strategic planning, and access to financing, all aimed at equipping local entrepreneurs with the tools needed to scale their businesses internationally. The initiative is part of the Chamber's broader mandate to build a resilient, innovative, and globally competitive youth-led business sector in Eswatini.
We're training the youth how to be entrepreneurs, and not just any entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur who's actually going to succeed and thrive in their business. We're teaching business concepts like how to have an entrepreneurial mindset, how to think like an entrepreneur. We're also teaching business basics, finances, marketing, business funnels, which is a new concept we're going to be going over today. We're teaching the business model canvas, how to test and iterate your business model. These are things that entrepreneurs need to learn, so that way when they launch their businesses, their chances of failure are almost diminished. So that's what we're going over in this accelerator.
The Chief Executive Officer and founder of Girl Get Your Body Fit says businesses should leverage social media as it presents a wide array of opportunities for growth, engagement, and brand visibility.
I am talking to them about funnels, specifically how social media impacts your business. I feel that when you come from economic disadvantage, social media levels the playing field because you don't need any money to get into it. And so I'm really trying to show them how this works to their advantage and how they can make money from it. And not only make money from it, build an audience from it so that they can have a sustainable revenue in their business.
Various youth organizations emphasize that young people are the foundation of any growing economy, highlighting the importance of investing in and supporting them.
As an organization which is very big on youth participation in sustainable development initiatives, our interest in this program this week is ensuring that as young people we have the knowledge and the awareness of the different steps and the different actions that we can take in order to create a sustainable livelihood for ourselves and in the process also contribute to the development of the country.
As a Chamber of Commerce, our goal is to actually create a mindset within the young people, whereby we create businessmen and business people that will actually have a different mindset.
We have learned how, first of all, the entrepreneurial mindset, that is to say, how does an entrepreneur think like, what are the opportunities that are available for the entrepreneur? They're equipping us at an international stage.
The Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survey states that approximately 24% of the small businesses in the country are owned by the youth aged 18 to 34 years, which is a decrease of 27% when compared to the year 2017. For Market View, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade is urging all constituencies that wish to empower and equip residents with crucial entrepreneurial skills to contact the ministry, as officials are always ready to assist. This call to action was made by Patricia Mamba, Commercial Training Officer at the ministry, during a training session conducted at Mochane in Kundla. She encouraged community leaders to partner with the ministry in promoting economic growth through capacity building initiatives.
The commercial officer at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Patricia Mamba, stated that the ministry collaborates with various stakeholders, including financial institutions and government funding agencies, to provide comprehensive support during these trainings.
Siphumile sabona ukuthi bantu abakhona iqhubeka amabhizinisi kakhulu insha ngokwesola lwati abakhona lokuthola yonke information ukuthi mawufuna ukuqala ibhizinisi kufuna uhambe ngayiphi indlela. Ngiko sizamile ukuthi asite silitiko site nayo i-registration of companies ne-trading license ukuthi uyithola njani nale license so i-register company nakuso ufuna i-trading license uqala kusebenta ukuthola njani. Sibese-ke asigcini lapho salanza tinhlangothi letahlukahlukene letingasita ukuthi tibacijise ngato te-business. Siphindze sacela nalaba lababolekisa ngetimali lokufaka ekhathi bo-RDF, bo-Agricultural Development Fund, Eswatini Bank, bese kuba nabo youth fund ngoba lapha sinensha kakhulu sisite nabo abete batobasita ukuthi le mali kuze bachubele business bangayithola kanjani.
Mochane Member of Parliament Wilton Gambule has expressed concern that it has been approximately a year and a half without receiving any requests to establish businesses from his constituency. He urges residents to take full advantage of the various government funding opportunities available to support business initiatives.
Lesive lesikhona ngile singasebenzi lesinalo sifiso sekuthi sivule amabhizinisi. Lokukhulu ngifuna kusho ukuthi yonke into inesikhathi. Uhulumende nyalo kusikhathi sakhe sokuthi empowerishe emaswati. Futhi siyadi lokuthi lesikhathi sitawendlula so kwangazi ukuthi bantu bangasukuma vele ngoba lesikhathi nyalo uhulumende ubuke ukuthi ayemparishe so that naqhubeka igeneration khanze ukuthi bantu bakhona kudondla. You never know ukuthi masinyane engene utakuvala lokho bese ubuka ukuthi salabuka ukuthi fund etempilo ngoba sibonke abantu bakhala ngetempilo. Lokho ke ngifisa lokuthi bantu abavuleke emehlo bakuthathe lokuthi kubukwe bona ukuthi babe empowered bakhona ukuthi iphilise lokusho ukuthi kokuqala ubukete ukuthi aphilise umuntu mentally kukhona lapha awuthatha le mali bese ayohlangabeza lesidingo lesivele kakhulu so asisukume sive lelithuba leli labo lokukhulu futhi thina enkundleni ngumsebenzi wethu ukuthi labantu sibabone bathuthuka nakude ama project sibathe siyabuka sithi no labantu abavuleke asesibanike le information ukuthi bafika kanjani ukuthi baze baqale ibhizinisi ngoba sibona solo sifikile kude labalethako sishumayele nasikhankasa noma sifike emihlanganweni sengibuka ukuthi no sekude batobanika lokuthi ufika kanjani uvula ibhizinisi ufika kanjani ukuthi uyofika utholele funding yabo RDF.
Residents of all ages from Mochane have expressed that the opportunity was much needed. Some have also shared their desire to expand their businesses, which is why they were eager to participate in the training sessions.
Siyafisa lokusebenta ukhanza ukuthi tikhona letinhlangano hulumende lasita ngato njenga RDF. But uke ukhanze ukuthi kufuna nibe ngitheni kani nani ngitheni nje leliphupho nalomfutho ngeke ufanane kini noba ngitheni
kuba ngalokuthi ke nginale restaurant ngifuna kuba ngumlimi at the same time ukuthi ngilime inkukhu naleti honji because ku demand le kulama clients ethu le restaurant.
So nginele kubona ukuthi lana ke-empowerisha bosomabhizinisi labancane ngathi nami asengide ngitobeka indlebe ngidawuphuma nawe ama-point la ngi-1 2 nyana kuze ngikhona ukubona ukuthi ngingayigrowa kanjani le yami ibhizinisi and ngikuphi lokunye lengingakucala ngasemakhaya.
The 2023 Blended FinScope survey states that over 3/4 of businesses in Eswatini rely on their MSME as their primary source of income. the dependency on business has dropped since 2017, possibly due to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. For Market View, Nelson Dlangamandla, Fuminkosi Nzinisa, Motshane.
And that's it for our business news this afternoon. After the break, we're joined by Sihle Simelane. Stay with us.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back. You're so tuned into Market View. Thank you for joining us. The National Labour Market Skills Project Anticipation Report reveals that youth unemployment currently stands at 48.7% in the country, which is a decrease from 58.2% in 2021. While this drop is encouraging, the figure remains a significant concern. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, commonly known as STEM fields, have been identified as sectors with strong potential for employment opportunities. We speak to Sihle Simelane, a member of Women in Engineering Eswatini, to find out how they are working to empower young girls to venture into STEM careers. Sihle, very good afternoon and welcome to Market View. What are the latest initiatives that you offer to support young women entering engineering fields?
Thank you so much for having me. At Women in Engineering, we have different programs for the girls. We have, so we make the different programs specifically for the different age groups because we want all the girls to feel included. The first program we have is the Girl Edge program, which targets girls in high school. So that's when we have girls in high school, and we have live sessions with them where we teach them and give them information on how to get into science courses at the university, and we give them all the information they need. And we also just teach them about leadership skills as well. The next program we have is the Circles program, where we have girls at the university level. In the Circles program, so the girls at the university, they have a community where they have other girls to talk about as well on their science courses as well. And then we have the third group, which is the networking event. That includes all the professional women, professional engineers and scientists in that one.
Okay, let's talk about mentorship. What mentorship programs are available for young women in STEM fields?
For the high school girls, it's more so group mentorship because, like I said, we have live sessions with them. So we normally just invite one professional woman or one or two from the networking events with the professionals. We take one from that group and we bring them to the Girl Edge with the girls. It's a group mentorship where they can ask anything, they learn anything. And then with the Circles program, that's more one-on-one mentorship because now they're at the university level. So now they get to get one-on-one mentorships and they get to connect with professionals. And, yeah.
Yeah, so women are significantly underrepresented globally and even here in Eswatini, Sihle. Although they make such an impact in the STEM fields, what is the status on women in STEM fields in Eswatini?
I would say since, well, we are in a third world country, there's still some improvement that we need to do as a whole country, because in some areas there's still gender stereotypes. I've heard some women speak about gender stereotypes where they are completely sidelined for leadership roles, and I think we need to fix that as a country. And that just, there's also a whole issue with the unemployment rates. We have a really high unemployment rate, and then there's also just women who do get the jobs, they get sidelined, and it's very hard for them to get leadership roles. And this is where Women Engineering, the organization, comes in, where they build the whole community for the women, and they can have these conversations and they can navigate on talk about navigating those circumstances.
Here you say they have difficulties getting jobs, particularly leadership roles. What are some of the challenges that they are facing right now, and what efforts are being made by women in science in Eswatini, to increase female participation in STEM fields?
There's a beautiful thing that I'm seeing with all the science women in the country. They are part of the Women in Engineering program organization. So they all come together and they try to include all these girls. They always show up. They always show up. There's so many different schools. We hold the sessions, and the children too, they always come, and the women, they show up. They teach the girls, they give them all the information they need. Basically, we're growing with more female engineers in the country.
Okay, that's good to hear. So I suppose you do go out to communities and schools and just educate young women on STEM fields. How do you engage with schools and rural communities?
Rural communities, all the schools we're open to all the schools. All schools are welcome. Right now, we do have some schools that joined us at Women in Engineering. We have, for example, Eswatini High School is in our programs. We also have Londodoma High School, and there's lots of other schools. Yeah.
So how has the perception of women in engineering changed in Eswatini over the past few years? We do have women in leadership roles in STEM fields. I can make an example of Eswatini. They do have women in science that are in management. How has the perception been over the past years?
Yeah, there has been a change. We are seeing more women taking the leadership roles. We've come to realize that men are also realizing that, women too can lead. Women, they bring good ideas. They too are fit for the jobs, and it's the women are finally just taking up space, and you can see it's a beautiful thing to see. The women are getting recognized for their hard work, which is very wonderful.
Okay, so lastly, what advice would you give to young girls interested in STEM careers?
I would say to young girls who are interested in STEM careers, I would tell them, don't give up on your dreams, find out all the information that you need, take advantage of school facilities, libraries, take advantage of your teachers, just improve academically, and personal growth as well is important,
Thank you so much, Sihle, for joining us on Makaview. And that's it with Sihle Similane from Women in Science. Eswatini is just telling us more about initiatives offered to young girls that are interested in STEM careers. After the break, we're joined by Sanellis Via for today's financial market. Stay with us.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is the last segment. It's 22 minutes after 2. We take a look at today's financial markets with Sanele Sibiya. Mrs. Sibiya, very good afternoon. Well, it's a pleasure having you. So what's happening in the markets today? Trump is trending as always. He has opened fire on the Federal Reserve's chief. What's happening there?
Thank you, Lungelele. No. As always, Trump is... I love that guy, but he's been he seems to be doing all the wrong things. So when he started that onslaught on Jerome Powell, what we saw was that markets started to tank, right? Because we want the Federal Reserve Bank to be an independent authority and not have to work with the administration. So what we're seeing in the U.S. markets today is basically all indices are down, from your S&P 500 to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, purely because of that uncertainty. You take that and you double it upon the trade tariffs and the worries that are there with trade, then you're adding a bit another dynamic of uncertainty and a bit of more rapid decline in terms of investor sentiments, because if we start seeing an administration that wants to be hands-on in terms of the monetary policy of the country, it becomes a bit worrisome. I mean, he's gone on to call him a big loser, Mr. Too Late, He just wants the interest rates to go down, and he wants to do it on his own accord, not on the timetable of the Federal Reserve Bank. So also, markets read, that hawkish stance from the Federal Reserve Bank as one of the issues that, that somehow add another barrier to expected growth, as we would expected that the interest rates would start coming down and then growth would start going up within the U.S. economy. So that's a bit concerning, when you have an administration that wants to take over. And that actually shows in terms of the dollar weakening. And we're seeing that capital flight out of the U.S. into other markets, in terms of the dollar holdings. We're seeing the investors, shedding their dollar holdings, moving towards the more stable greenback, that's the British pound, and also moving towards the Japanese yen a bit there. So those are the issues that seem to be troubling the U.S. market today. And then, the story holds relatively even across Europe. But when you look into Europe, you will see that the FTSE 100 remains on the green, even though it's just marginal greening there. That's because we are... The UK has not necessarily, they did not even make any hint of retaliating to Trump's tariffs. So they do expect to make a deal faster and quicker than anyone else. While Europe, Europe has been on the direct line of fire in terms of President Trump's tariff, in terms of what he said about, Europe, said they were essentially formed to do some things that we can't even say on air to the US, right? So that's what we're seeing there. And, with the Germans, in the absence of a deal, and we do expect the tariffs to affect those to affect the automobile exports. And also we do expect again in France, because, President Macron wants to lead the charge in terms of what the EU does, and also within the Russia-Ukraine type of conflict. So again, they are not that well in good standing with the US. So we're still just waiting to see what kind of a deal will come out. That is why when you move across the pond into Europe and Asia Minor, what we are watching out for there is what kind of a deal will come out between Vice President Vance and Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India, because that's going to give us an indication of the type of deal that the US wants to make. So that's what we are going to see. That's why we are all watching keenly what is going to come out of that deal, because it's going to be amongst the first deals that are going to be put there, out there publicly. You'll see that Japan continues to watch that as well, and they are a bit jittery in terms of what concessions the US will want to extract. We do know that what President Trump wants out of Japan is open up your automobile industry, and that is one of the major exports that Japan sends across the board. So investors are waiting to see if indeed they're going to open up the automobile sector, allow American companies to come in easily into Japan and start competing with Japan. However, China remains resolute on their retaliation, and they've threatened to retaliate not just against the US, but against every other country that is going to make a deal that will be in peril of, they'll put China in detriment. So we're waiting to see that, and we do expect to see a bit of stimulus coming in through the government and the Bank of China. And then in South Africa, markets are happy. We've hit on all-time record of 90,000 in terms of all trade share volumes. It's because gold is gaining. Today, gold hit that 3,500 mark and then started coming down to 4,300. And also, the GNU seems to be holding. So South Africa is looking good right now. So you'll see gold there is now at 43.65. But we did get to that to the 3,500 mark, yet another all-time record because of the uncertainty. And now that issue with Trump going at the Federal Reserve Bank, now that brings another dynamic of uncertainty in terms of the value of the dollar. So we're seeing people dumping the dollar, going to gold, into other stable currencies. Oil recovering a bit there because, we do expect to see a bit of stabilization once these deals start coming through. That's going to give us a bit of an indication. So we are watching that India deal that's being cooked right now. And then in terms of the currencies, the dollar has weakened across the globe, making our Lilangeni gain against the dollar. So we're down from that 1888 type of region we're in, and now we're at 1863. Also showing strength against the euro and the Japanese yen, being propped by that surge in gold prices because South Africa, you have the likes of Anglo Gold Ashanti that are listed in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and there's quite a lot of gold that comes out of the South African economy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Bia. Well, there you have it. Today's financial markets with Sanillis. We are just giving us a proper analysis of today's indices. It's 29 minutes after 2. We've come to the end of today's episode of Market View. Do join us again. On Thursday at exactly 2 p.m. And that's it from us and the whole Market View entire team. We'll see you on Thursday.